Alright guys,
Yeah,
wel
watch it, bro.
welcome to a final live stream regarding the Odense Modification. This is Lasse Andersen, Shadylasse, following you through a very brief tour of the map. For those of you who were a part of the day yesterday, you might have remember the longer tour you got, so I won't be showing you all of the point of interest, but I'll just give you a quick view over what we're going to speak about. So right now the moment is that I'm going to walk you through the map very briefly, and I'm going to give the word towards Benjamin, who will be showing you guys the exciting new callout features, which is what we have the logo up here on the left side for, so we can dispatch some fire units. As you can see here, we got the fire station. This is the fire station of Odense. We have a couple of firemen ready down here, ready to respond to fires whenever those arrive. We are planning on furnituring the building further once we get onto the progress, but we focused our main priorities onto creating the callout systems and to create the minor tweaks making this thing work. So more about that later. As you can see, you got the station down here, and we're in the southeast corner of the map. This is where the limits are. We got a residential area here on the south side. This white spot here is where we're going to have the hospital. So you'll have the ambulances coming down here towards to drop off sick or injured people from whichever accidents might arise while you play. Over here we've left some space for a little park. Some of you who know the city of Odense might recognize Mose once we get nearby the final result of this, but there's still some way to go. We got a lot of multiple story buildings here. As you can see, we got the Danish bank, Danske Bank, over here, the high rise of the city. And along here we got the shopping streets of the city with a lot of those older multiple story buildings. Moving further through the map here, you can see we're still continuing with buildings. We got some blank areas around here, which we are obviously going to handle at one point or another. But we're just trying to replicate the city as much as possible. So yeah, we're just gonna see what happens to those. Over here you got a little supermarket and some more multiple story buildings. The plan with those over here is that you should eventually have some open buildings as well, so you'll have the ability to walk into there with firefighters or policemen in order to respond to fire emergencies or arrest people. Down here is the second fire station of Valbro. All of the fire stations which you've seen has some roofs that you can either toggle or untoggle, basing on whether or not you'd like to see what's going on inside the station, or if you'd like to have the roof on so you only see the outside area of it. There's some bunker gear here for the fire department, which is where the firefighters are ready to go to grab their clothing when they get a call. But fortunately it's quite calm right now. Moving up towards the north side, you'll see that we have the Falk station here. We're going to be working on this environment soon as well in order to achieve a greater result. In regards to the train tracks, we're probably going to remove a bit of it and fill it out with more residential areas and more of the map in order to make it feel bigger. The thing about the railroad is that it eats up a lot of space on the map, so we're actually just discussing whether or not to have it in at all. But we'll probably see a mod version without it eventually. However, I do like these trains that I've created, the Danish railway trains, so we're probably going to have either a mission of some sort with those, performing rescue activities or fighting fires on them. Moving down here, you can see there's a lot of blank spots, and that's because I haven't actually updated this map very much with the progress I've made. We've got this area up here, which is going to be the harbor mainly, having industrial areas and some high-end residential apartments up there as well, in order to make the area far more attractive. Over here you're going to have the skiphouse area, which is going to be both multiple story buildings but also regular residential. And if we're lucky, we're going to have a little bit of rural activity up here on the northeast side of the map, so we can have some response to either field fires or towards farms that might have caught fire. Now we're just going a bit on the south side here, going down towards the fire station once again, but this is actually one of the more interesting areas of the city. This is Odense, as some of you might know. It's a ghetto area of the city, which is plagued by dumpster fires, car fires, lots of different disorders. On here we got some. We often got some trouble here for the police to handle, and we often got something for the fire department to go respond to. So you're going to have a lot of units heading out towards this area of the city to handle whatever might come that way. Now you might recognize we have the fire station down here, and we're going to move a little north because inside the almost middle of the map you got Hans Mullesgade and the police station. Now don't mind the vehicles with their lights on. We're obviously going to have those turned off for the final version, but for now we've just focused on the fire department. We'll get to this thing eventually. We got the police station, a museum, different buildings going on here, and yeah, we pretty much got a good overview of the map here. Down here is the creek, which is actually a part of the map that I'm very proud of, because I think it gives a very, very authentic feeling to the city itself. I really do look forward to having different emergencies, eventually a car going through the rails onto the bottom of this creek, or having people falling into it, so you'll have to rescue someone. That's going to open up a very, very creative aspect of controlling the emergency services of the city. This was pretty much all about the map. If you got any sort of questions, you'll just feel free to leave those in the comments, and we'll be sure to answer them as fast as possible. Hvis du har nogle spørgsmål på dansk, så spørg endelig løs inde i kommentarerne, så skal vi nok svare så godt vi kan. Vi kører den lige på engelsk her til at starte med, men hvis I har nogle spørgsmål, så skal vi selvfølgelig nok svare på dansk til jer også. That's pretty much all of the map for now that I'm going to show you, and I'm going to leave the word towards Benjamin, who has been working a lot on the callout script for the firemen of the city. I must say this has become somewhat wonderful, and I'm looking very much forward to showing you guys what has happened here. So I'm going to go ahead and get off the chair and leave the mic to Benjamin. Thanks for watching.
Okay, so now I've taken on the hot chair. So this is the fire station, just like Lasse told you all. And when we started this weekend, there wasn't really a lot to show. Thank you for following. There wasn't really a lot to show here. The fire station was there, the vehicles were there, but there were no scripting. The gates were just put in. Lasse created these during the weekend, like, for example. But there was no call-out interface. There was no way to call the vehicles. So we made this system. And Lasse actually made all of the textures for it. I only did all the scripting. What we basically have here is the dispatch system for the modification. It's divided into a fire section, a medical section, a police section, and finally a technical department section. For this weekend, our main focus have been on the fire department, so all the others are just blank for now, but eventually they will have all sorts of vehicles as well. What we have here is all the available units in the city, and what happens if we press the button, it will show us that we have marked a vehicle, and we can do this for all the vehicles if we wish to do so. There are two stations in the city. We have Odense, the station right here, and then we have the station Bolbro over here. For Bolbro we only have this engine right here. And if you look down here, you can see that there's some different numbers. There's how much available personnel there are on the different stations and how much is needed for the calls. So let's say we press engine 4 right here. We will say that there are 4 available people on the station and that we need 4. This is no problem for station 2 up here, Bolbro, because there's only one engine. But here on Odense, there's more vehicles than personnel. We need some kind of part-time firefighters. So let's say that we want a lot of fire trucks. So we just say we need all of these. Eventually, it'll say that part-time is needed, and it would highlight the page over here. And that means that if we press the call button, then we will actually see that it will page in the part-time firefighters. They will run to the station, change uniform, and respond in the last vehicles. But we did not make that part yet. We've just made the full-time part of it. Are we ready to show it, or?
I believe we are, yeah.
Yeah, so let's say we got a building fire of some sort. So we want to send an engine, we want to send a ladder, and finally we want to send a tanker to the incident. Then we will press the button, and I will make sure to shut up and be quiet, and let's just enjoy what we're looking at. Okay, so what you might be noticing is that they all activate this bullhorn at the exact same place, and that's actually because we put in some triggers all over the map, with triggers when they are in intersections. So that means that they'll just drive around with the normal siren, and then when they hit the intersections, they will turn on this bullhorn, which is something they do in real life. And we just want to remind you all that none of this existed when we started this weekend. We have created all of this during this weekend, and if we go back to the station, we can see that it's now empty and all the firefighters left. Of course, the same thing works over here on Station 2, Bolbro Fire Station. And we can do the exact same thing. We can say that we want a call. We want engine 4, the full-time engine over here. And if we press send alarm, we hear the fire alarm going off. We see the gate open. We hear the firefighters' pages starting. This is actually the real sound, both of the pages and the alarm tone on the station. We see them start dressing. We are planning to add some more animations with them, so we have one without helmets on, for example. They will run to the fire truck, wait a little while, then they will drive out and park over here. Slowly going out, turning towards the place, and turning on the siren once they hit this trigger over here. And then it will start responding to the area of the fire. And what you will notice here is that there's no bullhorn for this vehicle, and that's because we did not put any triggers in these areas. We only did it for the ocean wire part. So it's actually possible for us to control where we want these bullhorns or where we don't want them. Of course, it's possible to activate them manually. And that is basically what we did. We have created all of this during this weekend. We've come a long way. There's still a long way to go, but we have made a good start to it. So I'm just gonna see if there's any questions that we need to answer or anything else you guys want to see before we end this live stream to showcase what we've been doing. Modding takes a lot of time, like a really long time to do, and what we've done this weekend is actually quite a tremendous amount of work. We've spent almost every waking hour trying to make it, and we've done a lot of progress, but it's still a long way to go. So you guys just need to be patient. I got a question how we made them drive over there. For right now, we just made them drive to a set virtual object on the map. For when the final version comes out, we want you to be able to press the button, and once you hit the send alarm button, it will ask you where you want them to go to. But for right now, they all just drive to the same virtual object over here. But if there's no other questions, I think we will end the stream right here, and we hope that you guys will join us on the Discord, where we will be able to talk and chat with you guys. Thank you very much for watching.